All right. Hello, everyone. I am live. Let me make sure I can see myself on the YouTube side. My guest is backstage, so I wanted to start on time. All right. I see the red icon, which means that this is live, and there is me. All right. So I am going to share this over on my original Big Discussions 76 channel. And then we will jump in so I can respect Dr. Dix's time and get myself to bed at a good hour tonight. This is the first live stream here for 2024. All right, I'm going to give this a like there. I'm going to share it. So anyone over there who wants to join us, they can join us. All right, that's been shared over there. So let me go back. I see I have a few people there. Everyone, I have questions for Dr. Dix tonight. So when we did this about 2 years ago, it was almost 2 years ago, we were just talking about that. Please let me know and let us know what you think there in the chat. And also if you have questions, he's a subject matter expert. He's the king of automation. And this is something that's for our life and our times. This is something that's going to gradually expand and ramp up as we go on. So if you have questions, let us know there in the chat. And with that, I'm going to play the intro, and then I will bring Dr. Dix up. If anyone wants to make a donation to the channel during this stream, my Cash App and PayPal are here. I don't have the AdSense over here. And if you're new, if the algorithm brought you here for some reason, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, here we go.
It's impacting the self-driving cars, the self-checkout aisles. It's impacting warehouses because I shared an article, I think it was some weeks ago, about how Walmart, their distribution centers, they're making them full automated. Those are the main ones. Manufacturing. It's even affecting healthcare. And those are just some of the fields to name. It's impacting everything. Self-service. You have your Amazon. You have your driverless cars. Those are the big ones that I focus on because, and administrative jobs. You have a lot of people, a lot of women that work administrative jobs. That's automation. There are a lot of fields that are going to be eliminated.
Welcome to Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. Science and technology stories are all around us, and there are always science and technology stories to tell. There are always science and technology stories to tell, and what is bigger now in 2024 than artificial intelligence and automation? So a few quick things before I bring Dr. Dix up. So everyone, football season is over. So I've been doing my live streams on Saturday mornings, and I think now that football season is over, Michigan won the national title. Yay. I think I will maybe try to do some science streams in the evening during the week when people are up. Folks go out on Friday night and do whatever they're doing. So yeah, look for that. And yeah, let's see who else I can get on the channel this year and who I can get to come back. So tonight I have Dr. Patrick Dix. For those of you who weren't subbed just over a year ago, that's when he was on last. It was during the holiday season. Buffalo was closed due to a blizzard, and I couldn't get there. So Dr. Dix was nice enough to come and talk with me while I was stranded at my father's house. My father was away doing something himself, so I was there by myself. But we got to learn about, we got to have the first discussion on this channel about automation and artificial intelligence. So I was able to get him to come back, and this one turned around pretty quickly. We agreed on this day and this time like 3 days ago. So this one, sometimes it takes a while, but we were able to get this in really, really quickly. So before I bring Dr. Dix up, I'll front it with this. So my mother's watching this content now. And she's been watching my science content. Hi, Mom, if you're watching this, hi. And I said, Mom, I'm interviewing this gentleman tonight. And I think I showed this to her about a year or so ago, but she probably forgot. But one of the things my mother said was that was a good interview, but the information was very scary. And I'm sure Dr. Dix has heard that before, hearing about jobs being eliminated, hearing about machines and computers taking over. It's for people who are not familiar with this, it could be a little bit, well, scary to hear it. So with that, everyone, I'm going to bring up Dr. Patrick Dix, and I have some questions here. You guys, if you have questions there in the chat, let us know, and we'll see where the conversation goes. So everyone, let's welcome back Dr. Patrick Dix. Dr. Dix, how are you doing?
Hey, hello, everyone. How y'all doing?
Good.
Glad to be here again.
Thank you for coming back. You've been making the rounds. You've been, yeah. Well, I'll let you tell us about it. So, let's see. I have my little script here. Yeah. So first, thank you for coming back for a second Q&A. We did this just over a year ago in December 2022. And I'm happy we're able to collaborate again. Everyone, I'm leaving my first interview with Dr. Dix in the description box below. So for those who have never seen or heard of you before, I can't imagine that now. Can you talk a little bit about yourself, your channel, and your mission?
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Patrick Dix. I am from South Carolina, still live in South Carolina. And I wrote my research on artificial intelligence and automation back in 2020. The title of my dissertation is The Automation of Manufacturing, the Potential Effects of Rural Communities in South Carolina. I went to school at Robert Morris in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And from 2017 to 2020, the numerous times I flew up there, every time I would come back, I would share it with everyone down here in South Carolina and state to them that companies were going to automate the future, and that's where we're at right now. And I've been around computers for, it's over 25 years. I'm 39 years old, so I'm not new to computers. I've been around computers since I was 12. I have a BS from South Carolina State University in computer science and an MBA with an emphasis in information technology management from Webster in Columbia, South Carolina. I have taught over 60,000 students. I teach everywhere as an adjunct. And this July will be 10 years that I have been an adjunct, and I have a full-time job for the government. And I go around talking about artificial intelligence. I've been on PBS, CBS, NBC, Houston, Atlanta, Tampa, Miami, DC, Roland Martin. I just did an interview with Roland Martin the last Thursday before the end of the year. I've been pretty much everywhere you could think. Young Jock over in Atlanta with a radio station, Clark, Atlanta. We did a symposium there back in October 2022. And I have a YouTube channel, Dr. Patrick Dix, Instagram, King of Automation _AI, and TikTok. King of Automation _AI, and the DixConsultingGroup.com is my website, and my LinkedIn, Dr. Patrick Dix.
Okay, so he's everywhere. Well, hey, what's it like going on PBS?
It was pretty cool to meet Dr. Chavis. The executive producer of that show is actually my head PR person in Atlanta. And the same way I met you, Anwar, YouTube, or was it LinkedIn?
It was YouTube. I saw you on Erica's channel, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to him," and that's how it happened.
Yeah, oh, I forgot Erica, O'Shea, Duke Jackson. I started in 2020 with all those channels, and Erica and I just did a stream last Tuesday. Oh man, naming everything, I forgot about that. I found how I got on PBS was I reached out to the executive producer, did not know she was the executive producer for the Chavis Chronicles. And they said, send us the ProQuest link to your published dissertation. And I sent them all the rest of my information. That was in May or June of 2022. They told me you need to come up in September and film this. And I met Dr. Chavis and all the wonderful staff. We filmed that, and it aired in February of 2023, and it's still airing around the United States. And that was my first time actually being on big time TV. I mean, they sent us the questions and I prepared the best that I could, but the interview was excellent. I mean, I just flowed with it. It's different, you know, being here on YouTube, but when you have like 5 cameras around you and actual production people sitting in a studio taking takes, making sure your clothes are correct. They put makeup on you so you don't sweat and everything. And they'll tell you to look this way, but you got all the other cameras this way. So being on TV is very comfortable now to me. So I actually look forward to and enjoy it.
Okay, Aquateki was nice enough to post your YouTube channel there, and the Chaos Rain Show says, he says, "Don't forget me, Dr. Dix. I had you on my show as well." So I guess you were over there at some point as well.
I think I remember that. That was probably the time I had went on the show with him, and I had went on with Manna Tomorrow. I tried everything I could, man, to get the word out back in 21 and 22. Manna Tomorrow, LAR movement. I went to anybody's channel that would let me on, and I talked. So there are so many, I can't even remember all the channels, but I appreciate the support.
Okay, well, it looks like people are listening now. All right, well, before I jump into question number 2, Dr. Dix, I just told that story about my mother and her watching our previous interview. Have you heard that from some people that, oh my God, this is a little alarming that this is going on, that this is happening, and that this is, have you heard that when you started spreading your message?
Well, at first, back in 21, nobody was really listening, but in 22, they started to listen, and as of last year, they started to listen. And when we started to go around last year, people were like, oh my God, I'm scared. But the thing I tell folks, you must know what artificial intelligence is and automation. And until, you know, a lot of folks just hear artificial intelligence. I want to let them know there's artificial intelligence, there's automation, there's machine learning, there's deep learning, there's neuron networks. There are so many peaks and valleys to just how the technology works. But right now, the world has its eyes on artificial intelligence, and timing is everything. And I know many people are afraid about it, but one of the big things I tell folks, this is the first time in history that no one knows what the technology is going to do. And in the Black community, you know, we talk about wealth gaps. No community knows what AI is going to do. So this is the opportunity of a lifetime. We are all on the foundational floor. We all can learn and we all can thrive. So artificial intelligence is going to create trillions of dollars. It is life altering, but the opportunities it's going to put in your hands, if you have the right skill set and the right training, is infinite.
Okay, so everyone, when me and Dr. Dix agreed on this date and time, I started thinking, okay, can I be replaced? You know, can me and my coworkers be replaced? And I want to ask the management team at my current job, have you guys thought about whether or not these tasks that we're doing, which are highly interpretive, because I have a background in the biological sciences, and I'm in regulatory affairs right now, but it's very interpretive. I want to ask them, have you all thought about this? And 20 years down the road, will these regulatory scientists still be here? So coincidentally, I told Dr. Dix this. I got this in the mail from Stanford, the Stanford Medical School. I don't know why they sent this to me. Maybe it's because I went to the National Association of Science Writers conference 3 months ago. But it turns out this issue is all about how AI and artificial intelligence is going to impact the biomedical sciences. And they're talking about everything that's happening at Stanford. And there's a vocabulary list here that I put on my community tab. So I told Dr. Dix I'd like to go through some of these as we go along. So let's start with artificial intelligence, then we'll jump to the next question. So this definition that says ABCs of AI, a brief glossary of artificial intelligence terminology. A brief glossary of artificial intelligence terminology. So artificial intelligence, or AI, a term coined in 1955 by Stanford University computer science professor John McCarthy, PhD, who defined it as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. Today, it is understood as a branch of computer science that focuses on creating machines, computer programs, or software systems that can perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence. All right, so we'll start off with that vocabulary word, everyone. So Dr. Dix, so automation. So since the last time we've spoken, I've seen automation start to spread, particularly in the retail sector. I think I shared a picture with you on LinkedIn of a Walmart where there were no cashiers. I went in there one night and there were no cashiers, and all that were there were the automated checkout stations. And I've starting to see that at Target as well. Last week at Target, I went in there around lunchtime, and there was one cashier, and it turns out the automated checkout, those were closed. So we were all in this long line because they had this one cashier. I don't know why the automated station was closed, but I had to go downstairs to use it.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I guess because those weren't working, they only scheduled the one person, so we were all backed up in this long line. So what have you seen? What kinds of things have you started seeing since that last time we spoke over a year ago? Have you seen more of this?
More stores are getting self-checkouts, the Lowe's, the Home Depots, and now what's going on since the last time we talked in December 2022, you don't have an option. They're forcing you to go to these self-checkouts because what they'll do, they'll close all the registers that have people and say you don't have an option but to go to the self-checkout, and they'll have one person there that's verifying ID in case somebody buys wine or liquor or alcohol or whatever, tobacco. And one thing I'm seeing too, if you're flying, you'll see this big sign. I don't know if you reposted this, Biometrics by the Department of Homeland Security. What they're trying to do now is make it to where you don't have to use your boarding pass, which I highly discourage against using your biometrics, which is your face and your eyes, to get on a plane, because they had the sign. I posted it on my Instagram or something a while back that they would take the data and they will erase it. I said they're holding that data. They're not gonna destroy it. They're actually gonna hold on to it. And if the next time you fly, the next time you're about to show your boarding pass, I know I fly Delta a lot, and they'll have like this little square up there, and they'll say, hey, we're gonna start using biometrics. So what the future is gonna hold on, and when I say future, I'm talking about next 24 months or less, you're gonna start to use biometrics to get on airplanes. I mean, that's instead of scanning your boarding pass, because I went to my Delta account and they had it the way you can do the biometrics. I mean, that's just some of the things I've seen. I mean, the robotic cars, not robotic cars, the autonomous cars, you're going to see more of those. They even have the waitresses now that bring out the food. Somebody was sending me to where the waitress was on wheels and it brings the food to you. A friend of mine, they were at a skating rink with her and her husband and the family. I mean, those are just some of the instances of where you're going to see this magnify at. Even in the school systems now, they're trying to come up with curriculums. Last time, nobody was thinking about that now. And now, if you're an educator, you either use SafeAssign or you use Turnitin or some other tool. And now they have to incorporate artificial intelligence into that. We're worried more about kids and adult students using AI to complete their assignments with ChatGPT. I mean, it encompasses so much since the last time we talked, Anwar. I mean, it just exploded, and it's everything all at once. I mean, even the military is talking about, the former Joint Chiefs of Staff are saying, hey, we can use AI now to where we don't have to get up in the middle of the night. We can let it make the decisions. With the CRAM systems, rockets, artillery, and mortars. I mean, they can use that, to shoot the missiles out the sky. If you see the conflict with Israel and Hamas, you'll see the Iron Dome, you'll see it take the missiles out, the same thing. And he said, well, we don't have to get up in the middle of the night. We can let the technology do that. So those are just some things that have just advanced since the last time we talked, or just new things nobody ever thought about.
Okay, so the biometrics, is that different than the clear? Because I usually use the clear, but they're just reading my eyes and my fingerprint.
Well, it's pretty much the same, but you mean your iris, your whole facials, I mean, all this. I use clear too. I mean, clear and pre-check, same thing with biometrics. But now, if you fly Delta, I don't know which airline you fly, you'll start to see, if you go up there right where you get to board the plane, you'll see the little square up there. Some of them haven't been activated yet, but it's only a matter of time. And now, one thing, I don't know if anyone has noticed this, if I give them my passport, they used to look at it. Now they take your passport, turn it face down, and they scan it and give it back. I'm like, why are you scanning my passport? They run it through the machine, the TSA agents. Yeah.
So the biometrics scanner, that's right there before you get on the plane. So you can make it through security. You can do all those things, but that's the final check.
Yeah, they haven't activated it yet. At the airports I went to, they haven't activated it, but there's a screen. I might repost it because I actually took a picture of it. It was a big sign up there saying biometrics, but I haven't used it yet, but it's coming for everyone. Oh, and lastly, at the airports, you'll notice they have all the kiosks where you could check in and tag your own bags. What's happening, they're going to force you to use those kiosks, because what they're going to say, hey, we don't have that many flight people on them. You want to catch your flight, we'll stand here and show you how to do it, and you slide it up under there.
Wait a minute. So this is something we're going to do ourselves.
I did it with American Airlines. I did this in Detroit or DC. The lady was like, you tag your own bag right here. She said, tag your bag, show your ID. I did it myself because I never, that little white strip that comes out. Yes. I said, I don't know how to do it. She said, oh, you got to do it yourself right here. She said, I'll show you. Take your boarding pass, put it here. She said, you tag your luggage, show the other lady up there your boarding pass, and you can go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so the whole point of the biometrics is increased safety, right? So
increased safety and your privacy. I mean, but privacy. your privacy, your Fourth Amendment, unlawful searches and seizures, they're violating it.
Okay, but I imagine that would make it easier for what the FBI and the intelligence agencies to follow you and track you.
Well, they can, but what they're doing now, if anyone ever heard of Interpol, the International Police Organization, many of the cameras now that agencies are going to install, this old cliche of you can commit a crime and get away with it, those are going to be things of the past. So what's going to happen? You passing by a 90-something cameras using facial recognition. You don't know they got your face. And they're like, oh, you've been a wanted criminal for 15 years. Gotcha. And they're like, the camera just picked them up in the airport. It'll generate an email and say, hey, we got him. We know he's getting on this plane to go this place. So they're like, hey, we got 3 hours to mobilize. We know once he gets off, when he get off the plane, we got our fugitive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask this question from T. Riddler. This is probably a softball. He says, simply put, what is the difference between AI versus automation?
Artificial intelligence is the actual set. It is the steps. It is basically the algorithms running. So I'll give you an example. It is doing the thinking of saying, what can I do to make this process much faster? So if you're in a manufacturing plant, hey, I got somebody's hand motion. If it goes this way, that is machine learning and artificial intelligence working. The automation part would be the process actually running. That is the difference. That is the simplified difference. It's the actual data set, machine learning, and artificial intelligence is actually sitting there learning, and they automate the process. So when you look at a manufacturing line or factory line, that is the automation of the machine. It's automating. Another analogy is a automatic transmission. When you press the accelerator, it automatically shifts. That's the difference. Simplified difference without making it too complicated. That's how I explain it to everybody, the difference with automation and artificial intelligence.
All right, everyone, keep the questions coming. And I'll read these next two vocabulary words. And the first one is algorithm. So an algorithm is a step-by-step set of instructions that a computer or a person follows to solve a specific problem or perform a task, such as recognizing patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And chatbot, a software application or web interface that mimics human conversation through text or voice interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your Alexa, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's the worst thing. That's
yeah.
the worst thing to have in your house.
Oh, hold on, Dr. Dix. Why do you say that? What's wrong with Alexa?
Google, the lawsuit that Amazon paid like $30-something million. Ring cameras and Alexa violate your Fourth Amendment of unlawful searches and seizures. I would never have a Ring camera or an Alexa. Alexa is a pretty much an open access port to gather all your information. It is violating your privacy. It's learning. It is machine learning. So when people say have Alexa turn off, that's the worst thing to have, especially Ring cameras. Ring cameras. You can Google the articles right now and pull them up. Ring camera lawsuits and Alexa lawsuits.
Now, are you talking about the basic Alexa with the little circle joint? Or are you talking about the one with the panel and all of them?
The basic circle, anything. I would not even have a Ring camera.
Whoa, a Ring camera? No Ring camera to watch a parking lot?
It's learning. It's violating your privacy. You don't know when that camera is on and off. So everybody that comes to your door or your building, it's getting their facial, it's getting their images. Where are they storing these images? It's on a remote server. You're not the local host, so you don't have access to it. Yeah, just like Aquatechie, awfully quick to hand. They will hand that Ring data to law enforcement in a minute. Yeah, that's why I don't have any of that. I have a regular old camera system.
Okay,
gotta be very careful.
Amazon is awfully quick to hand that Ring data to law enforcement. Okay, so Amazon's running that.
Yeah, then if y'all have heard of anything FISA Court, Foreign Intelligence Security. I know FISA is something to that magnitude. I wrote a paper on it in my doctorate program, but you'll hear many of the senators and intelligence agencies talk about FISA Court, Foreign Intelligence Security Authorization or Act. And that's what something people should read up on. FISA Court, how they can get your information. And the Patriot Act, I can't remember which part of it they wrote like 23 years ago, but that big data, you remember Edward Snowden was talking about the PRISM program. That is actually the start of the invasion of your privacy, warrantless searches and gathering your information. So I'm telling folks, with AI and artificial intelligence, it's just learning from images, machine learning, and there's going to be a lot of intellectual property lawsuits and copyrights. That's what I went on Roland Martin to talk about, how New York Times is suing OpenAI and Microsoft, because you were talking about chatbots, how they were using AI to learn about their articles and information and make it to where people don't have to pay to go to the New York Times. You could talk to their chatbot. Yeah. We're going to see unprecedented lawsuits. I mean, I could go on and on. The doll, Megan, if anyone's ever seen that movie, you're going to have court cases to where we're in court. Somebody's going to say, AI told me to commit this violent crime. And then a judge or a lawyer is going to be sitting there. How do we disprove this? Because AI is actually, I don't know if we would call it self-aware, but it is a viable language that actually gives instructions. This is coming. We're going to have cases that reach the Supreme Court where they're going to have to rule. It is coming. It's only a matter of time.
Okay. So this third question, let's see. So yeah, so I work in I try to keep this vague, but I work in the public sector right now. Registering chemicals, it's highly interpretive, and you have to have well, for me, I have a pharmacology and toxicology background. And as I was thinking about this discussion and reading through this, I was thinking, okay, as I described, okay, how would people in my division get replaced, or how would we become obsolete? And so I want to show people something. What they talked about in here is that for the medical field, they're talking about it being used in a lot of interpretive ways. So, in other words, as a biomedical scientist, I'm going to throw something up on the screen now. We spend a lot of time looking at histopathology, so liver cross sections, lung cross sections, um, cancer cells, cancer cross sections. So one of the things they're doing is they're teaching these things how to read and understand those patterns when there's a cancer cell, when it becomes malignant, when there's something abnormal. So that's pattern recognition. So that means, but that also means someone has to teach it how to identify those patterns and what those patterns mean. So Dr. Dix, I know that in your content and on your mission, you're teaching people, you're encouraging people to become trained in these fields. Are you encouraging people to learn how to write the algorithms and the software, or to teach the machines how to read these things, or what areas are you encouraging people to go in terms of AI and automation?
I encourage people to go into pretty much every area. They're going to be AI engineers. They're going to be AI experts, AI ethics, not ethics, ethics. I think I'm saying that word, ethics. To make sure it's ethical, you're going to have your AI auditors. I encourage people to learn everything about artificial intelligence, from how it works, the large language models, to the processing, to the prompt engineers, because it's artificial. That's what I tell everyone. It is artificial, it's man-made, so it has to learn how to put information in and read. That's where you come in, because anything man-made is going to mess up. Somebody has to fix it. Even if it's in your field dealing with pharmacology, they can use machine learning to look at pigments, and they can use AI to say, hey, why does it look like this cell looks like this? Somebody still must be a subject matter expert. The question is, how many people will we need? Because some of these facilities might go from 75 to 20. Are you going to be one of the 20? And if they eliminate 55 people, if you don't have the transferable skill set, what are you going to do for those 55 people? You know, for instance, if you work in a manufacturing facility, if they're going to eliminate your job, they always will have manufacturing facilities. They must have people that are in the blue collar skill set, that are electricians. They have to have plumbers. They must have people that know how to weld. Even though they have robotic welders, they still must have people in these fields. You can go into an industrial engineering. These robots are going to tear up. They must have software engineers, because you could go through a VPN and change the package. That's why I tell everyone there is opportunity for everybody. If you want to go into computer science, information science, engineering, if there are 25 robots running in a facility, somebody must be there. There has to be a human there, because it's going to mess up, and somebody has to fix it. That's what I always tell folks. It's going to break, but to get those high-paying skilled jobs, you must have that 2-year degree or that 4-year degree. You will not walk off of the streets anymore. You know, that's what Erica and I were talking about. And then I chimed in on what her and women in Linux on Friday. The days of walking off the street laughing at people having an education are over. If you do not have the correct skill set, you will not have a job in the future. And if you are not in the blue collar, when I say blue collar, I'm talking about HVAC electricians, plumbers, construction, building, maintenance, and white collar, biology, chemistry, healthcare, computer engineering, computer science, agriculture. I mean, dealing with animals, veterinarians, because whether people really believe it or not, I was talking with somebody at work, cows produce milk and meat. We have to, because, you know, Iowa State University is one of the biggest universities that does that in the United States. Food science, animal science. And lastly, the mental health field is going to need more people. I just gave a presentation to the social workers of South Carolina Thursday. And I talked to them about how AI is going to assist them. I said, AI may eliminate some of y'all, but we will need more of y'all than ever, because the mental health crisis is going to gradually just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you can't replace the emotional and physical touch and the human touch with a machine.
Okay, I'm going to read some of these comments here because someone just touched on that. Non-Swirl Zone says Boston Dynamics automation and robots are scary advanced.
Yeah, I watched their channel a good bit.
Okay, I'm not familiar, but that's with a lot of things. JJ Mars says seems like a trade-off, less personal privacy, but possibly more physical security as far as biometrics is concerned. So I think he's talking about our airports discussion. Aquateki says, I heard about that change at airports on the news the other day. Less privacy and Big Brother oversight. Here's one I heard Engineering Cannabis talk about quite a bit. He says, I read that some AI programs have been tainted by racist programmers, resulting in racist bias against Black people. So in other words, what you feed the algorithm is how it's going to interpret whatever situation you give it.
Well, that's why you have to go get trained to fix that problem. I see a lot of people on LinkedIn talk about that. Become a computer engineer, computer science, or AI engineer, and put your foot into the mix to say, hey, I want to make sure the algorithm isn't racist. That's the best thing you could do. Get trained and go into the field and to prevent that from happening. Because, you know, many people get on TV, they'll talk about how racist certain things are, but you have to be a person of action now. And that's the best thing I recommend everybody. Get trained, get up to date on how this technologies are advancing, and prevent it from happening.
Okay, I'm going to get back to so yeah, Non-Swirl Zone said, going back to your comment about the psychologists or the psychiatrists, he says, are there any opportunities for psychologists in AI, in the AI automation revolution, particularly cognitive, organizational, and human factors? Psychologists, I only see engineers.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier about the social work. Yeah, there's going to be opportunities for AI. What was the opportunity? Psychologists. Yes, there will definitely be opportunities for psychologists, social workers, etc. I know you only see engineers, but we're going to need everybody, especially with mental health. Psychologists and sociologists and psychologists. But the only thing I've told people, you want to be a psychologist, you're going to have to get a psych deal. You might have to go to medical school. You can't just get the regular degree. You're going to have to go all the way in because you're going against a piece of technology that pretty much can duplicate what you can do with machine learning, using neural networks. And if people don't know what that is learning how the brain actually works faster than what we can do. And if you want to have your foot inside the door at that as a psychologist, a licensed psychologist, go at it. So if you had the STEM background and then you say, hey, I want to be on the psychology side, because I talked about that earlier. If somebody has to go to court, you will have a psychologist to say, I'm certified dealing with AI psychology. This machine actually, Your Honor, proven testimony, manipulated this defendant's brain and made them commit the violent acts. You're going to have people like that. A lawyer can only defend, but they're not a subject matter expert. So when you say you have a licensed psychologist that is 5 years experience learning how these large language models work with psychologists and diagnosing people with the AI drain or whatever AI fundamental disorder, that's a field for you, because it's coming. It's only a matter of time.
Okay, really quickly, you stated that mental health is going to continue to just going to be
get worse. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, people. Why is that?
People are feeling there's no hope left. I told the social workers that too. People, I know in my area we have murder suicides like they had 2 or 3 cases. People are just feeling with the pressures of life, inflation. This is not even race or gender specific. Life is tough. They can't afford to live. Some people never recoup their money from the pandemic. They lost their job. Some people have numerous people living with them. They feel like they have no out and they're taking all their pressure. And like Aquateki said, people don't deal with drastic change. The changes we're going through. See, the world was on pause for about 3 years. Now the world is spinning back around and say, I have to make up time. And all these changes are so abrupt because think about it. People, okay, we had the pandemic. Now you hear people like myself talking about, well, AI is going to eliminate jobs. Well, hold up. We just got out of a pandemic. You talking about AI is going to eliminate jobs, but contrary to what people don't know about, this was going to happen anyway. The fourth industrial revolution, it just accelerated. The pandemic just accelerated it. So mental health, people in the mental health field are going to be bombarded with cases from everybody because all this is coming in at once. And people don't know how to adjust to what's happening. And then we got to add in there, okay, many places, excuse me, I saw the other day, Google's laying off 30,000 people in marketing because they found out how AI can help out with marketing. Think about if you went to school for the wrong degree right now. I'm 39. Think about if you're 39 and you're like, I spent all that money. I can't even get a job in my field. I got to go all the way back to school. When this is the catch. When people told me when I majored in school years ago, you might want to major in something else. I thought I knew what I was doing. Now I'm stuck, or the company going to lay me off. And a lot of people are being put in that situation because you can't tell them anything. And that's the sad part. People don't really adapt to change. So with mental health, people are just giving up right now. And then, with the relationship world of people not dating one group of people and this, people don't have help. And a lot of people are just trying to carry the load by themselves. They can't take the load by themselves. Mm-hmm. And one thing I do tell folks, a lot of people do not make a lot of money. When I gave a speech in November, I said the average American, this is the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the average American makes $1,112 a week. This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That comes out about to $58,000 a year. Without taxes, if your rent is $2,000 a month, $24,000 minus 58 leaves you with about 30. Hold on, you know what? I got all this technology around us. We up here guessing. 58,000 minus 24,000. That leaves you $34,000 a year. We haven't even added in car payment, life insurance, childcare. People are just stressed. That's what all that comes down to.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. That alert I got, looks like Eric was live right now. All right. I'm going to read 3 more, and then I'm going to sprint through these, and we'll get to the next question. All right. So this is one we all know, everyone, ChatGPT. A chatbot developed by OpenAI, capable of generating human-like text based on context and past conversations. It is powered by a large language model, mm-hmm. and is an example of generative. I can't say it.
Yeah, generative AI. Yeah,
generative AI. All right. Okay, here's a big one. Deep learning, a mm-hmm. type of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks. Which are inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. And mm-hmm. then generative AI models that learn the patterns and structure of their input training data, text, images, or other media, and then generate new data having similar characteristics or perform tasks that they were never trained to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my next question, in terms of folks who want to get into the party, I was thinking about myself, and I said, well, what if I want to take my farm tax background and go teach a machine how to interpret study reports from chemical companies? So there's you being the subject matter expert, but then there's also someone's going to need to write the code and create the algorithms. Would that just be a matter if you're a subject matter expert going to a technology company and saying, hey, I have this expertise in this, I want to help you guys build this? Or does someone actually need to go and learn how to write code and algorithms?
Well, they're using AI to write code and algorithms, but it's going to mess up. Somebody still needs to learn how the actual language work. I know a lot of machine learning is done with R, and R is free. And one of the other big languages is Python. I just downloaded R to check something on my computer. I'm teaching a class in machine learning this semester for a school. And R is free. Python is free. IDLE is the compiler. So you could go on YouTube and learn how both of those work to get more familiar with them on how they process information. But there will still need to be somebody with your skill set to learn, if even though it's reading toxicology, to say it's not spitting out the right stuff. Because what we could do is called validity and reliability. We could have humans do the same study and same diagnosis and same analytics and see if the machine can duplicate it. The machine is not going to always be the best choice. It's still going to come down to humans. That's why you will always be needed. And see, you're in a healthcare field, pharmacology. I mean, people are getting sick. I mean, that field covers so many things. I look at the forensic files all the time, looking at cells and looking at vaccines and everything in medicine. So you just need to learn how artificial intelligence works. You could contract yourself out because over 80% of people are not willing to put that work in to learn how it works. So you could charge people money and companies to say, hey, I know how this works, or what to look for when it messes up.
Okay. So with this being a STEM channel, I have to ask this one. So in terms of writing, but you just said the machines create the algorithms, right?
People do too. But somebody has to check it, but they're going to rely heavily on the machines to do it and say, hold up, is it they're doing the same thing? Because, you know, algorithms are math. For anyone good at math, you can be a subject matter expert in writing algorithms or checking them for the large language models and AI.
So that was my question. You're going to need a background in, well, you're going to have to be tight in your mathematics.
Yeah, for algorithms. I couldn't.
Algorithms.
I couldn't do it.
And these
my math in the bed. Yeah, okay. You're gonna have to have a good to do the algorithms, the math, but to verify information, what it's putting out, it's various backgrounds that are required for it. But I know the right algorithms. It is a set of steps. So you would be good in math. You will be good in common sense too. That's the other thing. You know, just using common sense to see what should this thing put out. Don't overthink it. The computations of it. You know, your algorithms on like Google, same thing. When it searches for information, what people don't realize, somebody has to fix it. A doctor can tell you what's wrong with the machine, but somebody has to have the skill set to fix it.
Okay. JJ Mars, we're gonna come back to this one, but I'll read it right now. He says, as society becomes more automated, the need for universal income and other social economic programs will be required. Okay, we're gonna circle back around to the finances in a second. I'm going to read two more. Large language model, a type of AI model that's trained on massive amounts of data and can be easily adapted to perform a wide range of tasks. Some examples are the models that power chatbots like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Bard. And also machine learning, a method that helps machines learn from data and get better at doing tasks without being explicitly programmed. It's like teaching them to make decisions and predictions by themselves based on patterns they discover in information.
Or like data points. If my hand, like I was talking earlier about my hand going like this, you put a sensor, or you have the high-speed cameras to say it can learn like object, like bam, and then you put all that in one motion. It's like it don't know to go boom, boom, boom. You're like, I just taught it how to move. And you know, people that stand up all day in warehouses delivering packages, I mean, they're doing the same motion all the time. So it's very easy to have a machine do it. Or the person can get it, and the robot will know where to go. They call those collaboration robots. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, all right, I'll ask this one. What kind of salaries do people trained in AI command?
Some of the jobs $200,000 to $300,000+, but that's for right now. The thing is, once everybody gets in the field, they're gonna have to be median to meet the demand. But if you get into the field now, you can get paid a lot of money because nobody's really thinking about this right now. If you were to go on Indeed and do AI engineer and have the skill set, like my background is computer science, if you have that skill set or you have the ability to just say, hey, I'm willing to learn, you can outdo your competition 10-1 and get paid a lot of money. The goal is to get into the field before everybody else gets into it. Same thing that happened to cybersecurity. Now cybersecurity is pretty much going to be done by AI and machine learning. And I'll tell folks they're not going to continue to pay people $180,000 a year to do penetration testing. That field will be probably cut in half. And people, I say, you can't argue with me on that field. It was overpopulated when people went into it. That's why I didn't want to write my research on anything. I'm aware of it, and I teach classes on cloud computing. But when I teach the classes, I let people know machine learning and AI is your greatest threat, not somebody else. The machine can do this faster than you can do it. It can do it 24/7 all the time. It can detect threats. And if you Google articles on AI with cybersecurity, there's so many on it.
Okay. Everyone, please smash the like button if you haven't. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's zoom out and go a little geopolitical here. So as you know, this is an election year, and one of the critical things is always what the candidates are not talking about. I noticed in one of your last videos you talked about the politicians not talking about artificial intelligence and automation, and you also talked about checks and balances. Typically, we think about that in terms of how the government is built and how it's supposed to kind of regulate itself, but what does that mean in terms of artificial intelligence, checks and balances?
Regulating it and making sure the technology is being used for what it's supposed to be used for. Out of all the people I've heard this year, I remember Nikki Haley is the only person I heard mention about artificial intelligence. And many of the candidates, I know both sides, the fields are dwindling down, but this is a serious issue. I mean, your local, your state, federal, they have to talk about this because this is going to impact everybody. I don't care what gender or race, socioeconomic path you're on, this is going to impact you. And there must be a system of checks and balances, just like, you have the executive branch, legislative branch, judicial branch. There are checks and balances to make sure there's not too much power in each branch and no branch can override the other one. So that's what I mean by that. The same thing with artificial intelligence.
Okay. Now I also noticed, as it relates to artificial intelligence and automation, you mentioned the IMF, groups like the IMF, and when you think IMF, you think United Nations, you think the world, those groups,
the World Economic Forum,
the World Economic Forum, right?
The International Monetary Fund,
So the G7, when they have all these meetings throughout the year, these are our world leaders getting together and talking, and I've tried to tell people that, here on the ground level, we're looking at Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams, and who's winning the Super Bowl, and Cardi being Offset. People are so distracted with what's going on down here, but our world leaders, they're getting together and they're looking down on us, and they're making decisions about our lives and what's the world going to look like and where they want the world to go. Why is it important to keep an eye on what groups like the IMF are doing, and what made you take a look at what they were doing and what they were thinking?
They just met this past week in Davos, Switzerland.
Yes.
And they do a lot with trillions of dollars. I mean, you go to their website, they are about commerce, World Economic Forum. You have all these bougie billionaires, people worth hundreds of millions that control everything for the rest of the world. When they put out the article, 40% they said AI has the potential to affect 40% of jobs globally. Nobody paid attention to that. I always pay attention. When Goldman Sachs said 300 million jobs, see, these are the things people like, they ain't gonna do that, till you sitting there with no job and a pink slip. And those organizations, the World Economic Forum, when I see particularly the IMF, they deal a lot with money, and they deal with policies. They deal with how money can be, how money is transferred, etc. They're pretty much a bunch of weird people that meet, but these people sit in these rooms and they have power and money. Like you said, we weren't about Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams when in 36 months, 5 to 10,000 people every other month might not have a job because of some policy where these people passed over there. And you're like, well, how did it get to this? You know, why they cut my money? Why is the price per kilowatt going up? Stop worrying about minute things and worry about the whole perspective picture.
And everyone is hard. I mean, we're inundated with Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams and brick ladies and cheesecake factories. We're inundated with that stuff, but there are people several pay grades up from us, and they're making decisions on us all the time, and you don't know until, as Dr. Dix just said, X amount of people are laid off, their jobs are obsolete, and they have nothing to do, and they never saw it coming.
Yeah, because streams like this and Erica's, and I bet if we were talking about relationships, you'll have 100,000+ followers talking about nonsense. But when it comes down to holding a mirror up to yourself, like, why aren't you successful or making money in the most powerful country on earth? People do not realize this. One of the things too, I talk to people about, I say, AI is not about race. It's not about gender. Your life is on the line right now. I say, you will be fighting for your life. Everybody will be fighting for their life. And what I want people to understand is this is going to be a fight. No time in history has a piece of technology been able to eliminate the need for millions of people to work. And people are like, okay, well, AI give people time to free up to do other things. Free up people to do time to do what? They won't have any money. To go to that other comment about the universal based income, there's no universal based income. California is $60 billion in the hole. The money from the Biden administration and the Trump administration is gone. There is no safety net no more. If you don't work, you don't eat. That's what it is right now. Every state, New York, all the other states are asking for funds with all of the political stuff going on. There is no more money. There is no help. Nobody's coming to save you. If you do not make it happen, you will not have a job. Plain and simple.
Okay. All right, everyone, I'm going to sprint through these last 3 vocabulary words, and then I have a few more questions for Dr. Dix, and then we'll wrap up. Keep letting me know. I see your comment there. Real brother got the bag. We're going to get to that. Okay, so natural language processing. So a branch of AI that uses machine learning to process and interpret text and data. It represents the ability of a program to understand human language as it is spoken and written. All right. Neural network. We just talked about this. A computer system inspired by the way our brains work. It's made up of interconnected artificial neurons that help computers learn from data and recognize patterns. And then finally, training data. The initial data set containing the examples used to teach a machine learning application to recognize patterns or perform some function. So this is kind of, in a way, it's like teaching a child something.
Yeah, you're teaching the machine how to do everything. And then once you teach it once, you're trying to take the machine and let it learn itself again, how to make another child, how to make another child, how to make another child. But every time, let's say it produces a child that's more sophisticated, it's better, it's better, it's better, it's better, it's better. That's actually what you're using artificial intelligence to do. Learn the steps in the language and then make something even better. Okay, well, if I can get it to make 5 of y'all, why can't I get it to do 25,000 steps to make this process faster? And companies, with how their bottom line is going and having to lay people off and cut people, they are seeing the need to say, hold up, we can get rid of 35 people. Why do we need 35 people when the software could do the analyzing for us? Hold up, let's not get rid of 35. We'll leave those 5 people that have those master's degrees in accounting. The rest of y'all that don't have the correct skill set, y'all got to go. And then people are going to be like, they racist. No, they're not. They've been telling you for years you needed the correct skill set or a CPA. That's what it's going to come down. And I've said this before, a master's degree is going to be the basic minimum education on jobs in the future. Bachelor's degrees are like high school diplomas. If you were born after about 1980, that means you graduated high school in at least 1998, 99. You have no reason not to have at least a 2-year trade degree or certifications, a bachelor's or minimum a master's. That's the way this future is, or the life is going. And I'm not going off of what I feel. I'm looking at data and statistics, because you could look at jobs right now. A good bit of them say minimum qualifications, masters, prefer, what it'll say, bachelors. It'll say masters preferred, but we'll accept the bachelors. They want people with master's degrees.
Okay. Real Brother Got the Bag says, is there any relationship between AI and society moving towards a cashless society, meaning paper money is becoming obsolete? Is there any connection in there?
I don't know if it's a connection, but we are headed for a cashless society, because I use Vimo, Cash App. I rarely carry cash, and I've been seeing that coming for the last couple of years. Like, hold up. There are a lot of places, a lot of like, if people have the food trucks, most people, to be honest, if I was a barber or I was a beautician, or male or female, I wouldn't take cash. I'm like, I don't care, I don't take checks. You gotta, well, they're an older person. I tell them to bring their credit card, we can swipe it. So we are headed for a cashless society. I mean, people still have cash money, but it feels funny to have cash money in your hand if you never had it in your hand in a while. And we are headed for a cashless society. We're trying to head towards one. Digital technology does mess up. So hopefully we don't completely head to that, but the capability to use cash is still good. But you can't buy a plane. You notice you can't buy a plane ticket in cash. Y'all notice that? Nope. They used to be in the 80s, people can go take $1,200. They're like, we could track everything you do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm probably one of the last Dave Ramsey disciples, but yeah, for the big purchases, hotel rooms, flights, sporting tickets, yeah, all that is charge.
Yeah, I don't think you can rent. You have to have a credit card.
Rental cars. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, we're coming down the home stretch here. Get any last questions you have there in the chat. So, Dr. Dix, in much of your content, you encourage people to be vigilant about gauging whether or not they can be replaced and made obsolete. You've also interestingly delved into, well, I'm sure what me and you would call basics like money management, responsible spending, retirement, and planning out your future and making responsible life decisions. What compelled you to add these aspects to your messaging?
Life is going to change for people, and many people are not prepared. And if your life has been on the rocks, you finally now have an opportunity to turn your life around, because I will say AI is, let me see how I say it. AI is something that's here, and it is, nobody owns it. So anybody can get into the field. That's the beautiful thing about it. There are no checks and balances. There are no safeguards. There are no safeguards yet, but eventually, once they put them in, who knows how it may change. But for right now, get into the field. Next thing, money. Many people don't make a lot of money, and they have to take a step back. I mean, these mortgages are ridiculous, and you see people on Instagram and everything. My rule is, how I learned: if 1 week paycheck does not buy something, don't buy it. If you don't make $3,000 a week, you don't buy a house with a $3,000 a month mortgage. You don't take 2 payments trying to pay a bill, 2 people. And I have a video on my channel. I created it in 22 or 23 survivorships. What we're about to have happen, if everybody has not seen it yet, you're going to have people having to live with people they never thought they would have to go, going all kinds of ways, or leave it like that, because you don't make enough money, they don't make enough money. Like Erica was saying, we're about to have 4 and 5 generations of people in one house. So y'all young millennials out here and Gen Zs that make all this money, you about to have to buy a 5-bedroom house, because half of your family didn't prepare for life, and they're going to be mooching off of you. I highly recommend you don't do that. People should have got their life together. And if you worked hard, went to school, went to the military, etc., make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Do not be the in case of emergency person for people, because how these prices are about to get in life, and car payments and whatnot, because people, it's tax time. People are about to have money to showboat. But you and I probably both see, remember during the pandemic, you saw people taking trips with money to their ear and stuff. Don't see any of that no more. Real life is coming in, and this is real. This is how it's about to play out from here till something else happens. But this is the game. You either have the game play or you don't. And life is showing up to people that do not have the game plan. And for the people that are trying to get it right, there is help for them. But for the people that are oblivious to how the world is going and keep looking at social media, I feel very sorry for you. I do.
Okay. And so, Dr. Dix, this is off script. Would you say that what we're seeing on social media, though a lot of that stuff is not real, or it's only half of people's true lives?
They lying. The algorithms are sending you stuff. Most of the stuff to our community, they send us stuff to keep us off track. I'll give you a perfect example. You saw this. You saw that. I know you saw this. Disease X. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Many people are like, what is Disease X? It's where over in China, they have created I don't know, you need to read up on this. They have found a way to use the C19, and they said it's 20 times, it's fatal now. They can make it, they tried it in mice. And the mice, their backs hunched up, their brain activity. And then they were talking about Disease X. That's been all in the news. Most people don't even know what that is. I said, do y'all realize what people are just doing? That's the kind of stuff. But we know what's going on with Shannon Sharpe and Cat Williams and Love and Hip Hop tonight and the Super Bowl. And your whole life is about to be impacted. Or China is about to be the #1 superpower in the world. And the US dollar is still drastically dropping. For the folks that like to travel overseas, your US dollar used to be, everybody used to want the USD. People now, eventually, they might go to the yen. Money is everything. Yeah.
Okay. And I heard that the home prices are not going to come back down anytime soon. People were thinking, okay, this is another bubble. It's going to burst like in 2008. But I'm hearing that those are going to stay right where they are.
They outpricing people just to make sure. How many people can afford a $450,000 house? If you can afford it, can you afford 360 payments? Can you afford the insurance? Can you afford the maintenance? Can you afford that with 2 cars? Can you afford that with a wife or a husband with college savings? You can afford a house. Y'all know how many people got these beautiful houses, don't have furniture in them? A lot. Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Dix, we are at the end. So I'm going to end with this. Looking into your crystal ball, I mean, I think you've described much of this already. What do you see? I think one of your big takeaways is repetitive jobs are going to go away because machines are going to do them.
Yep,
but that's
exactly.
kind of what you're seeing.
Yeah, new jobs are going to be created. There are going to be lots of new industries like social skills. Many people that are introverts don't know how to talk to anybody. Communication skill sets, human intelligence are going to be fields that are going to be much needed. With the change we're about to go through, those types of fields are going to be needed, and that's the opportunity for everyone to get into it. So if you have the journalists, when I've done news, like in Houston with Stephanie, I was telling them, hey, y'all jobs might be up for grabs by AI, but you're a news journalist, so you know how to communicate with people and talk to people. There's an industry for you already with your transferable skill sets. So there are going to be lots of jobs and industries created, but you just have to know what to do, and you have to have that correct skill set to get into them. But the future is AI is going to get more powerful. It's going to get cheaper. But as long as you're prepared, you can navigate these obstacles, get those correct skill sets, and try to talk to people about it. And if people don't want to listen, I highly recommend you to get away from them, because you cannot have dead weight dragging you around right now. Do all you can to help folks, but if they don't want to listen, you got to do what you can for yourself and your family.
Okay, I'm going to read a few more of these comments, then we'll wrap up. Aquateki says, hopefully some of these AIs will keep financial institutions honest.
That's a good point. Hopefully.
JJ Mars says AI will ultimately result in
Yeah,
political/social instability if left unchecked.
very true.
What does that mean?
Like they used AI with the Israel and Hamas conflict. They were able to generate certain images of stuff happening, and it wasn't true. Do y'all remember in the movie Live Free or Die Hard? Remember it came out of 2007. Remember the guy, the hacker, was able to generate the White House or the building blowing up, the White House or the Capitol, and it was a fake image. That's what we call deep fakes. There. Oh, I forgot about the deep fakes. I could go on and on about this, but those are false AI generated images. They're trying to come up with watermarks to let you know if this is a genuine image or AI generated. But what JJ Mars was saying, it will create political and social instability because if you don't regulate it, this technology, a company will say, we'll get rid of all the jobs. Somebody has to say, whoa, 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 you can't eliminate all 150 jobs. You got to at least have 75 people here. Otherwise, they'll just use it for whatever they want to and say, we don't need a workforce. We need 10 people to run our whole facility. We went from 300 to 10. Bye. That's it. That's why you got to check it.
Okay. Real brother Greg got the bag says AI skill sets are much needed, but at this moment in history, we're encouraging the young men in our group to focus on skilled trades.
Mm-hmm.
Down the line, we'll provide small business grants. Now that's interesting because you've also encouraged you've encouraged participation in the skill trades.
Yeah, that's good that they encourage them because many men have like let's say felonies or whatnot. Nobody doesn't care about that if you can put pipes together in a building. If nobody has water, they don't care about your background. They need the stuff done. That's it. So there are people that are millionaires off of can't get words out. There are people that are millionaires off the blue collar field. So it's a field that many of us are not in. We need to get into it. The community, Black community, that is a opening. They're building houses left and right, and they will need handymen, handy women, whatever you want to call yourself. There's opportunity. Yep.
Okay, there's two more. Tech RX says OpenAI recently bought numerous newspaper publications companies to run algorithms on real-time data for numerous use cases, politics, fashion, and many more.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was talking about with OpenAI. That's what I was talking about with the New York Times suing OpenAI and Microsoft for doing that same thing. No, they didn't buy. I'll take that back. OpenAI didn't buy. They were trying to go in the back way to do it, to get previous articles to learn and rewrite them. Because if you go to the New York Times so many times, you got to buy a subscription. They trying to make it to where we ain't got to do all that. Come talk to us. So it's all about money too.
Okay, and then Akweseki says deep fakes are gonna be a problem. A news report noted someone already deep faked Biden's voice on some political message.
Yeah, I agree. I heard about deep fakes in 2017 with a classmate of mine. Yeah, they're gonna be very serious. They're already problems, and they're getting better with them.
Okay, so you're basically you're impersonating somebody and you're creating something that's not real.
You could put my mouth, or like Aqua Techie was saying, you could put my mouth on President Biden or President Trump, and I could say, America, we're going to do whatever we want to do. We could tell Putin them, and people will believe it. And it looks like his actual mouth moving, but it's actually me. That's the deep fake. They're very convincing because most people don't do research. They'll say, "Oh, did y'all hear what Trump or President Biden said? He ain't running for office." Let them do a deep fake and say Biden do a news conference, which AI could generate. Said, "I am not running for president." Do you know how much news that would generate? Yep. I'm not going to run, man. They will have to find out who did it, but that's exactly what a deep fake is.
Okay. Aquateki, thank you for the Cash App. I have to give Aquateki his salute, Dr. Dix. Just 1 second here.
Your side of the Decepticons is prime.
Okay.
That's a little Transformers. I mean, his avatar is Jazz from the Autobots, so I made up a little something for him. All right. Well, Dr. Dix, that's all I've got. Do you have anything else?
No, I know I just want to leave everybody with this. There's opportunity for everybody. I know what we talked about tonight can be scary, but if you get that right blue collar skill set, that white collar skill set, and that mental health skill set, what we've been covering throughout, you will be able to maneuver this. I'm not going to say it's not going to be some obstacles. Nothing's perfect, but you give yourself a better chance to stay employable. And lastly, if you are not helping move society forward, you will become obsolete. Plain and simple.
All right. Well, everyone, that's all we've got. Dr. Dix, thank you for coming and enlightening us to what your knowledge set and what you're seeing and what's coming.
Yeah, just go to my YouTube channel. Yeah, go to my YouTube or my LinkedIn or Instagram, King of Automation _AI.
Okay.
Yeah. You can send me a message. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, that's it. I'm going to wind the stream down. Dr. Dix, hold on for 1 second. Yeah, everyone, please like, share, subscribe if you're new. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. And the link for my newsletter is down there as well. Thank you to everyone who signed up. So with that, I'm going to wrap the stream up. So everyone enjoy. What do you say? Can someone post his Chaos? It's all the way up at the top. Dr. Dix's YouTube is right here.
Yeah, Aquateki posted.
All right. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
All right.